Magda
What is your name?
My name is Magda.
Your name is Mansa.
Magda.
Bansa.
Magda.
Mazda.
Magda. Magda.
Mark it down.
Magda.
Eh?
Magda. Magda. Magdalene. The full name.
Okay. Ha! Since I am here, you know, say Magda. Mazda.
No, I didn't say Mazda.
Manta. I say, can't come smash that. Manta. You see, which one? So your name is what?
My name is full name Magdalene.
Magdalene.
Yes.
Magdalene who? Magdalene who?
Mama, why are you bopping?
Ikine.
Why are you bopping this thing in this age? Now age again as Amanda.
That's the short form. That's how everybody. That's the short form. That's how everybody call me.
You say?
That's the short form. That's.
Mama, you are before God.
Yes. Yes.
You need your.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mazes. Okay, it's a late night. It's 2 minutes past the hour of 11 before you go to bed. Earlier this evening, there is a breaking news. More native doctors are being arrested in Anambra State. Not necessarily arrests. So that we'll put that in proper perspective. More native doctors in Anambra State are being brought in for questioning. Now, hence the title of this evening broadcast is going to be Arresting Native Doctors in Anambra State, a necessary measure or religious bias. What I want us to do this evening is actually to look at these arrests to see if these are necessary measures or are they religious bias? Are there any atom of biases as regards to this? If you recall that many people have really argued, including Mazi Dibia, who said that it is religious intolerance, that the way you have Christians using Eucharist sacraments, communing and drinking wine as the blood of Jesus. And, these are the arguments that many people have posited, that it is as well the right of Christians to do this. Many, on the other hand, have said no, these native doctors, that it should not be allowed. Now, this evening, one of the native doctors by name called Ekehit from Okija has been arrested. To be honest with you, I think on this one, it's high time I had expected for this to happen. You know why I had expected this to happen for a very long time? Is for a very simple reason. I had made a video where I criticized Dr. Chris Ngige when he was the governor of Anambra State in 2003, or rather 2004, when his then godfather dragged him. He won an election on he was sworn in on 29th of May 2003, but his then godfather, Chris Oba, dragged him to Okija. And when he came out, if you Google Okija 2003, you will see nasty videos that emanated from Okija, where as a sitting governor went into what they called evil forest and saw dead bodies. I hope you can hear me loud and clear, people. Can we just give me feedback quickly? Sorry, hold on. Sorry, I haven't really. Okay, yeah, we can hear me loud and clear. So, when that happened with Dr. Chris Ngige, I spoke up to say, this is not right. If I were to be Dr. Ngige, the moment I come out of that place, I would arrest every single native doctor there. Because Ngige was a medical doctor. I said was because I don't believe obviously he no longer practices. I would say that for him not to arrest those native doctors who had dead bodies littered everywhere in the state at that time was for me a red flag. Now, in this case, here we have a voice note by someone who calls himself Governor Ezioku, and what he said that transpired, or the voice note, according to them, that Ekehit dropped within the WhatsApp group of the native doctors. Just have a listen.
All right, my name is Governor Zioku. This is AK Hit when the security men brought him to come and search his house. But before then, AK Hit made a voice note to a group of where some of his associates, they all interact. So I would allow you to listen to the voice note here before he went there himself.
Obidocha, be brothers. Obidocha, be brothers. Because no Obidocha. I trouble me for woman. I try to what one has a ndochum. Because the best route to the more back a hit. No to she for nya. So I have yesterday. But was here been in Bana wins him, maybe see a Bashia wins him.
Okay. You see, while, for me, this is a very difficult one. Why this is very difficult is there is a thin line between someone who is worshiping idol and someone who is, someone who is just engaging in religious practice. The reason why we must be very careful here is imagine Boko Haram or Muslims go in and burn churches, destroy churches because they do not understand what happens there. If you hear that as a Christian, you'll be alarmed. I am not, I believe in the, I'm not, how do I say that? I'm not a, I don't believe, okay, put it this way. I don't believe in juju. I don't. Because if there was anything like juju, that's me bringing logic to this. I don't believe in juju because if there was anything like juju, where were these juju when the white men came with only gunpowder and took my ancestors away? So why didn't they use the juju to buy everybody? The reason why I don't believe in juju again is, I know a lot of people who hated the former president Buhari, and you hated him, and they had all these juju in Nigeria over, north, south, east, and west. Yes, the man, even in all his sickness, was able to serve out his 8 years. And some people are going through shege now, and there is juju. So if you ask me, I think it's, like a Macbeth, they say, is the eye of a child that fears the painted devil. In Igbo, we say, onye agbabu ka agha, onye agholi ka agbabu, right? So that's on the other line. So when I say this, I am trying to strike a balance here between fighting crime and infringing on people's right to worship, right? Because if I look at it now on two planks, on one plank is some people could argue this is our worship. On the other hand, what the activities that they portray to the society actually take our young ones away from normal hustling, normal, you wake up in the morning, you do something, either you're a coder, you learn trade or whatever, there is something you're doing. If you're a content creator, you create content rather than just say, okay, go and sacrifice one ram, bring in chicken, bring this, bring the other one, put them all together, and something, magical happens for you. And it is on that plank that I think the state may have a hold on AK8. There is this guy called Yambaba. I don't know many of you know him. I think Yambaba, he's based in Onitsha. One of the times he had one of his podcasts with AK8. Let me show us the video. Ekehit was trying to market his product. Here he is actually telling people that if you come to him, he's going to give you juju money in 4 days. In 4 days. I mean, I'm not going to say this myself. I want you to really, honestly listen to him here, what he says.
Tupu iburu dibia. Ikwesịrị ịba ụzọ ihe na-abụ n'ụtọ. Ọ nwere ndị tiri egwu si na ya na-abara mmọnwụ. Agụrụ ya bụrụ egwu. Mana ịnakwa egwu a anyị fụ na egwu a nwere meaning. Maka na bifu iburu ihe ọbụla a na-akpọ egwu ahụ ị ga-aba mmụọ nwere mmụọ ị ga-aba o nwere mmụọ ga na-arụ gị ọrụ maka na ọ bụ eji aka arụ onwe ya mmụọ na-arụ mmemme ka ọ gwụrụ ọrụ. Ọ ga-enwe mmụọ ngeni ya dị na mmụọ ọ ga-enwe mmụọ ị na-enye nri. Eke eyi tita abụ mmụọ na ya aja na nri.
Okay. I think let me quickly sorry, that's the wrong video, I believe. Let me quickly pull the other video where that's sorry. And the reason why I'm showing this is hold on. Okay, not this one. And you will see after saying this, right? After saying this, you will then see this, because that's why people have to also be very careful how they talk. Because if you boast, it gets to the point of, walking, or, Bonner Boy will say, no be church or church, but show walkings. This is him here. Sorry, this is the right video, I believe.
Mụ na-agba ndị mmadụ sị gị na ngwasara gị ọgwụ ma ọ karịa 4 days ma ọ bụrụ na ọrụ ọrụ you come and correct your money back. Ihe na-egbu oge tupu ọrụba ọrụ bụ arụsị n'ịma agwa ọgwụ bụ na ị nwere mmụọ na-arụ gị ọrụ n'ịma agwa ọgwụ bụ na ịma mgbọrọgwụ na akpa ahịhịa maka na igbu mmadụ kịta nke bụ eziokwu na akarịghị 5,000 naira n'ahịa. A sịrị gị na nna m ugbu dokpara ya maka ọkọ. Onye ọbụla jiri ebe dibịa na-akọrọ ya akpa ya dị very stupid. Ọ dibịa ka ọ dị n'ikọrọ ọgwụ mkpa gị. Onye ka nna agwa ndị mmadụ si ha afụbeghị m any pastor. I am saying it. Fụbeghị m any church. Ya pụta challenge ya mụnwa bụ eke yi tiri ọkịja nkata ọgwụ iyi ka iyi. Si m bịa na afọ oro ka ya mee ekpere ka anointing kpatuo mụ n'ala. Pastor ọbụla menwuri anụ from that day I will repent and start going to church.
Okay. Now, so you listen to him, right? You listen to him. He says he does his juju and he make you rich. And he goes down there in that video, he boasts about the things he can do. The same man, I was about laughing when they came to arrest him, or rather when they came to summon him, which if you go back again, kind of trying to link it to the other video that we watched, where he made a voice note. The same man was earlier. From what he said in the audio, we now know that the arrest was not done today, but the video was released today. So it appears the arrest, or rather the summon, was in the early hours of yesterday, right? So they did not arrest him per se, but he was summoned and they went to his house. And this is them going to his house here. That's him in red. That's him here with that big, pot belly. Sorry, maybe my mind is playing me caro, but at some point as they were walking, I was expecting for the first time to see someone disappearing in camera. I was expecting, whoop. Now, why there is another thing our people say that that means the native doctor that cures diarrhea, has he hung his orifice somewhere at the top? Because look at this environment now. This street is untarred, and someone will go there for him to make juju for you to be rich. And I would have thought he should have made enough juju to have probably tarred the street. Obviously, I know that's not the job of the citizens. That's the job of government. But people who really boast in this way, I mean, it would have been, come to a native doctor's house. You should have seen something probably more befitting. But that's him here. So they took him to his house, and you can see most of the men masked. I said, now, wow, all these people just for one shrine. That means all these DBS, that's what, they have to run. Everybody has to. So this is Okija. Now, the governor has really, really gone on saying that some of these shrines, the one that I support is all these shrines, they say they collect money. Oh, Mazezoke, you're owing Mazezoke 100 million. The Mazezoke will go to the shrine and the shrine will say, oh, we are going to kill that person. And when that person, the debtor is killed, his dead body must be brought here. I mean, that's pure madness. How can, I don't know. I do not believe that the shrine can kill. For me, it might be apparent that there might be those working behind the scene to go and buy the individual, and the moment that happens, they will now probably bring the dead bodies. We have seen them on Facebook displaying this, so that's why, on one hand, I am really taken aback why it took government so much time, because one thing I always as a person do is whenever I see them show such nonsense, there is another tiny riffraff, so to say, called Okongudibia, that you know goes from shrine to shrine, trying to kind of showcase them, kind of market them. And he says, "No, na gbanye ha n'ihu akwụkwọ." That is normally his language. Whenever I see such crap or such nonsense, what I do is to report that against Facebook community guideline, because it is dehumanizing to be showing dead bodies because you're looking for customers. You're showing dead bodies, you know, in such manners, telling people that you are the one that killed the dead bodies because the individual, the disease did not pay the money he was owing someone. And to even to think that in the year in the 20th, 21st century, that people will still be daft to believe such nonsense and crap, really, it's also really surprising. Now let me read what the according to Punch, let me read what is written here. It says the Anambra state government has sealed a shrine in Omofo village, Okija, Ihela local government of Anambra state, following multiple complaints from residents. Now in this case, it is the residents that reported. The shrine, the the shrine allegedly run by a self-proclaimed native doctor, Ekene Igbo Eze, who promises unsuspecting individuals super wealth, was shut down as part of the government crackdown on illegal spiritual operations. The advisor to the governor on community security, Ken Emaka, while leading operative of Udogachi to the shrine on Wednesday, that's today, said that the motive was in response to the report from locals. Igbebueze's business is illegal under Anambra State Homeland Security law. Emaka stated, adding that properties linked to operations have been sealed. So, meaning the man has no customer again. So, why is he not using his supernatural powers to do something? I don't know. But again, on the other hand, because you see, while I do critical analysis, I have to be fair and balanced and take note of both parts, for and against, right? Before some of you who are not critical thinkers watching will say, "Oh, Maz, where are you standing?" I'm standing nowhere. My job is to look at both sides, right? Then where I will give my opinion, I will. And then said all items found in the shrine will undergo forensic examination and the result will be determined further actions needed by the government. He says the director of operations for Agune Chamber Security Outfit, Chinenye Ihenko, warned youth against patronizing fake native doctors and pastors. The activities of fake spiritual leaders are fueling a get-rich-quick mentality in the state. Now, fundamentally here, one thing I like from this report is it is not only about native doctors. So before those who think, oh, this is about native doctors, I know some of you are already laughing because there are some pastors that you may want them to visit too. But not be my mouth when I go here say Mazi was calling for them to go and visit this pastor. I will never call them to visit anybody. But hey, however that goes, we will see. One thing that is very clear is that the fake spiritual leaders are fueling a get rich quick mentality, and that is a menace. That's why we have increased kidnapping. That's why we have people, getting in kidnapping. And when you also want to look at these native doctors of a thing, you also understand that whenever government busts into any kidnap and altar with some certain flags and altar where they kind of perform rituals. In one of the places, I think in is it Osu or where, a place called Produce. When the Imo State Joint Task Force went into that bush, there are so many decomposing bodies that clearly show that there is some diabolic stuff going on here, and there is also a trade of human parts. Suddenly, human parts means nothing to us. Just like there is a video trending, there is a video people share on WhatsApp. But for the respect I have for human life and for community guideline on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter, I wouldn't share those videos. Where a fellow human, a fellow Onyibo, was just butchering another man with knife, and you hear the sound of the bone in the chest. King, king, king. Oh, you know, that sound alone, I can't get it off my brain. That sound alone, macheting another human being. For what? You keep asking yourself, why are we this barbaric? Why? Why are we this barbaric? Why are we just so wicked? Killing another man for what? Because you want to get rich quick. Some people in Facebook, on the Twitter street, call it score mining. So are you mining another man's score? Eh? Why are you mining another man's score? That is unbelievable. I think honestly, I like the new way the Anambra, the new found energy the Anambra state is, employing to go along with this. The only thing that I'm saying is, please, 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 whatever that we must do, we have to endeavor as much as possible to stay within the ambit of the law, so that we do not do anything that will run afoul to the law, right? And while we are doing that, we must also pay attention that we do not make the actions look as if some religions or some certain individuals are targets, right? Because that is, what is. I'll have to show us also another video where the same man on another podcast to the same Yam Baba, and when he came in, he had, in my view, my little girl calls it a chandelier. He was putting on a chandelier in his head. Look at him coming in. When my little girl looks at, he said, that looks like a chandelier hat. Yeah. And we haven't had so much from the one called Aqua. You know, one thing that I hope that this will do is that we get back our society, whether that is Christianity, traditional religion, Islam, Hindu. We must rein in on this mentality of, oh, come, you don't need to, do this, do the other one. Come, you make money. When I look at those who actually believe in this concept of making money, I say, I don't know what native doctors understand about digital world. I don't know what they know much about AI and how people make money, millions of AI. I was trying to explain to someone, an elderly person. I said, listen, without internet today, without the internet, I would have no job. I would not be earning anything. The conventional projects that we do, or if would be it within the cybersecurity or be it within the CRM, is 100% on software as a service. So that is SAS. So when you look at that, that takes away whatever you know before now that is conventional, and takes it on the realm that how does juju then affect digital money? Assuming if there was this nonsense, sorry, okay, pardon me, before you think I'm not respecting your religion, but if there was anything that is called juju 15, 20 years ago, why didn't that juju tell you to go and buy Bitcoin and keep it? Why didn't that juju tell you 5 years ago to buy and hold Solana? Why didn't that tell you 10 years ago buy Ethereum? Why didn't that tell you buy SRP? You know, I struggle. I struggle. Whatever that comes with juju appears and still primitive. Sorry, primitive. Very, very primitive. It has nothing to do with modernity. The world is moving. The world is moving. Today, you can't run away with it that even PayPal, X, Facebook, everybody is even what's it called? Not Ton, Telegram. Everyone has their wallets that you can actually make transaction, be it on DEX, be it on central exchanges. If you understand digital world and digital currency, then you ask yourself, how would you then begin to just oppose that to primitive way of accumulating wealth? Imagine that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, somebody killed an individual. I recall to buy, in order to buy a car, there is one man while in Onitsha then in the 90s, between 93 to 99, this man had a Belgian car called Carina E. Carina E. Jesus Christ. No young girl at that point that did not, come on now, Carina E. Air condition like there is no tomorrow. And people actually killed. People went robbing just to buy Carina E, just to buy Peugeot Evolution 545 Evolution. The moment you stop the car, the thermostat goes, you'll be hearing woo. Is it when my dad then bought brand new Passat? Every time we drive, people will say, please be careful because these armed robbers will pursue you with Santana in order to take your Passat, right? That was 1987, 1988. I can't forget. The reason why I can't forget is whenever we're on our way back home, the old man will be listening on his cassette desk. He'll be listening to Pelicoma Otonti 88. So obviously it's 87, 88, then 89. Within those time. And when you look at it, how was it that somebody killed to buy Santana of that time, Passat of that time, Volkswagen of that time, Porsche of that time, Citroen of that time, not to talk of when my late dad in the 60s before the war had fleet of Morris Minor. There was one Citroen then that when I think we press something, the Citroen would just be on the floor. Why am I saying this? The other day I was watching a documentary. Somebody showed the former or the late Igwe of Abag, no, not Jenwa, Igwe Ositaguna, late Igwe Ositaguna, how he had a butcher's car in his house. That's a bulletproof Mercedes, a limousine. Why am I bringing all these things in? That when you want to engage in some of these things, just give yourself a 5-year lifespan. Imagine today, I talked about the past, but imagine today that somebody is actually killing another to go buy Tesla, Cybertruck, what's it called? Range Rover, Velar. I don't know. Is it a Moda? Is it Kia? I don't know. Whatever car. Mercedes, GLK, GLE, GLS, GLS, GLC, GLE, whatever, G Wagon, Brabus. You have to hurt and unalive another human being for you to make those acquisitions. That's totally nuts. But that's where these men, and in the Christian faith, in the traditional faith, are driving these young children. So, in that premise that this must stop, that's where I support what the governor is doing, because we must all support in this direction, because this is total nonsense. How can we, in the year 2025, we are talking about somebody saying that he's a native doctor, if he come, he makes you rich? How can someone who lives in a bungalow, 2-bed bungalow, I mean, just bring logic to some of the nonsense that they will tell you. How can someone who lives in a 2-bed bungalow, how can he make you rich? And you want to build a mansion? If in the words of Akpi will say a 3-room mansion. And somebody will just say something like this. You that is watching me now, you would actually believe him. Like the other one called Akana Soch, father of all the men, that will take our sisters, our mothers to the rivers, stark naked, not even with pant or bra. And you turn on your camera, your telephone, and you're recording them with ram in between their leg in that filthy water where they can actually contract infections. Jesus Christ. So these are areas I want the state. If you go to our waterfront is so littered. How can you kill stuff and just be dumping them into the water? Egg, whatever, Fanta, Sprite, Fanta. Yeah, come on. I mean, this. Did you hear that? That to kill a human being is not more than 5,000. Then he now gives an example that his father killed his first son because of chicken. And we do not see the irony and the stupidity in all this. These things has to be checkmated. Even when we create content, there ought to be, editorial scrutiny. People ought to, undergo some basic training. Not everything that we just, in the name of whatever, we just yank things to the people. We're not saying control people's thinking, but there ought to be minimal standards. How can someone, because if I want to look at this deeper, I would say the moment he said that killing a human being is not more than 5,000, it means for me that actually, based on certain circumstances, he can actually unalive someone. It's not more than 5,000. Jesus Christ. My father killed his first son because of chicken, because of a fowl. You see? And that's again, that is the junction where these two faiths meet. He says, without the pastors and the Christians, the native doctors will be hungry. That even referring to the date this podcast was shot, that even yesterday he still did juju for crowd puller, the ones that they rob and they do anointing. So it means everything is fake, both the doer and the receiver, all fake. In the voice of Wike, all fake. They all need deliverance. Eh? In the voice of Wike, they all need deliverance because I can't. Anyway, I don't know. My friend will say, "Onye abuna malo se ife." Wike, please come and lead us in praise and worship so we can deliver.
Ancient of days, as old as you are, as old as you are.
Asari Dokubo, waiting you talk.
Mumu na too much. You be mumu.
Your voice and your blood should not be hurt. So when you listen to this, you understand and you begin to appreciate why Anambra State is doing what they are doing. And if we still stay in Anambra, many of you actually saw the video of the I don't know if you've seen it, the video of the Unizik, the video trending from Unizik, where a little girl, a young girl, was making a video, right? And the lecturer passed her by and tapped her at the back and said, "Excuse me, young lady, can I pass?" And before you know it, the lady said some things that the lecturer went back to say, "Are you speaking to me?" And the girl said, "Yes, that I'm speaking to you." And eventually, the whole thing led to serious battles and fight. The whole thing led to serious battles and fight. And the university now has summoned both the lecturer and the girl, and they're going to be setting up a committee to look into the matter and find solution. So this is the video in question. This is the young girl here making a TikTok video. You can see on the top right is the moment the man tapped the girl on the shoulder. Now watch the video because the girl was just doing her TikTok video. So at this point, the man walks. Obviously, there is a door beside the girl, not the other one at the back. Obviously, the girl was blocking the door, and they tapped her. Okay, can I pass? And the following then happened. Excuse me. So the lecturer now went back, called the lady back, say, "Okay, who are you? Can I know you? What XYZ?" Eventually led to a point of saying, "Can you delete the video?" And trying to seize the telephone. That's when hell let loose. Anyway, the lecturer at this point, um, thanks goodness, many people have commended the lecturer on Twitter that he had the patient, that is unmatched, because he absolutely did nothing. Why the girl was dragging her like someone dragging I better pass my neighbor. He did nothing. You know, the question is, who is at fault? Is it then wrong to tell a young girl, please excuse me? And sometimes I say, now, wow, these children, they get mind though, because I can't imagine, and that during our time, your lecturer, you touch him for clothes. Now, we weren't raised in that manner. Eh? We weren't raised in that manner, to be honest with you. A lecturer that will tell you that 100 to whatever will be for God, and 95 to 900 will be for God, 80 for up 85 to 95 will be for him, then the other one is your score. But incidentally, the lecturer had to come online to explain himself. So let's hear the lecturer as, and it's actually is not another, it's a PhD holder actually, so not just a nobody, so to say. So the question is, does the lecturer have the right? Does he? I don't know. Has he got the right to try to take the phone of the young woman? Has he got the right? If you take someone's, or someone walks into your shop, the person can actually demand that, unless, I don't know, again, in a public place, the argument could be, well, that's a public place. So if you're in a public place, um and you walk into a shop, then that's your problem. But if someone asks nicely, please, I do not want to be on TikTok, for obvious reason, because the way he tapped her, maybe it goes on TikTok, somebody says, oh, is this my that's my sugar daddy, that is XYZ, I don't know. Maybe not wanting to be on certain platforms, and maybe I've asked nicely, maybe it wouldn't have turned out that way. Do you think it was right for that girl to really, really tear, both of them really put leg for one pot of, portion of trouser? If you ask me, I think now, wow, I can't imagine. And I heard this is a first year student, so meaning if she's a first year student, so she would maybe between the ages of 17 and 19. And this man in question is not nowhere less than 40 years. So someone who is over 20 years, who could actually be your dad, you just drag him like that without any respect. I don't know. I haven't seen any abuse from the part of the lecturer. For the fact that you tapped someone to say, excuse me, can I pass, is not a bad thing. The reaction, in my view, was, you know, was too much. If there are certain level of home training that a child will have that you totally ignore. The moment someone touches you, say, "Oh, excuse me, can I pass?" Oh, because it's a public place, because you're before the door, it is expected to say, "Oh, I'm sorry." That's it. If she had turned and said, "Oh, I'm sorry," without necessarily moving ahead to yarn or say further insult, what transpired may have not transpired, to the point that the man was almost like beaten up by I wouldn't say a child, she's an adult, but you know what I mean. If you have someone of her age, you understand that she is a child, and that she is, done that thing. I'm just being very careful here. one as a parent, two as someone who understands that there ought to be respect, but also not pushing that someone will have to be a slave in the name of respect. You know, in trying to strike a balance, you look at it and say, well, what could have been done, but well, it's done, it's done, and sadly, that honestly, that this has happened, and the university is investigating that. Now, I cannot conclude this live stream this evening without showing you, because I started by condemning the church, the native doctors, the Ezenwanyes, those who tell people to come and get rich quick. I must then conclude this section by this, night broadcast by saying why we condemn those who believe in get rich quick. There is something that we almost neglect, which is the Eba boy. In this video, you're going to see one of the biggest tile seller and building material seller in Enugu called Enugu Amaka Construction. The man settled one of his boys who have served him for 7 years. And his own testimony, he testified that this young man has been exceptionally good, that he doesn't buy any clothes unless the man buys for him, and he's very diligent. It gladdens the heart, and the man gave him 15 million. When I shared that in one of the elite group that we are in Anambra, I am surprised to see that people who didn't know this young man contacted me and said, how can we get the telephone number? They want to support, to kind of, because the young boy was giving 15 million. Somebody this evening pledged extra 1 million to give to this young man. For me, this is what we must project. This is Eba boy. This is Uchu. This is Amamihe. This is what we need. We can refine it. If you recall, when I had my State of the Igbo Nation conversation with the Commissioner of Information Anambra State 2 weeks ago, I asked him this question: how is Anambra State formalizing this Eba boy that the state can put in a structure, beyond Anambra now, that people can actually do this, and also that state can now promote vocational training. On this note, allow you to listen to this. He said, I'm going to shock one of my boys. Now, if you do the maths here, 15 million for 7 years means that every month Junior was being fed. He was receiving his training. He was being taken care of. Yet every month he was being paid 178,571 every month for 7 years. That is amazing. That's amazing. Because when people think they are smarter, even a what's it called, sales skill, even if you pay them 50, 70, 80,000, 100,000, even if, but it's not possible. You see that sometimes just because people don't necessarily want to be, how do I say that? People don't want to learn, because if you do, imagine a person getting 50,000 a month, by 12 is going to be 600,000, and by 7 is going to be about 4.2 or thereabout million, assuming it's 5 million. If you live in someone's house, is feeding you, is paying you, you have actually no outgoing because he's still clothing you, and with some little extra cash here or there. For me, this is where to go. If we modify it, state comes in, like what I suggested to the Commissioner of Information Anambra State is that if state comes in If this guy is giving 15 million, the state can actually give counterpart funding. It could be 50% of whatever the boss gives, but as loan. Imagine where that happened. The Oga has given him 15 million, assuming state gave 7.5 as loan. That means he will have a start-up capital of 22.5 million. By the things he has learned, by the way he is being diligent, the sky will be his limit. In fact, the sky will be his starting point. Then, if the state helps him, because why state needs to come in here is that in terms of the training, when you are doing this boy, you should be going to school, learning numeracy, how to read, write. Then you should be learning basic computing. You should also then be learning, obviously you learn advertising, marketing, customer service. These are things they learn. It's just that they do not have certifications. But state can now devise a structured certification that they can now give them at the end of the day, which major part of it will be bookkeeping. That the moment they do this, there are softwares, one of them can be used, and the moment someone finishes, it can start. And if we begin to put structures in here, you can see that even this thing this man is doing, you can, nothing says he cannot be selling this on Gigi. Nothing says he can be advertising on Jumia. Nothing says he cannot be advertising on Konga, and all other platforms to make this thing go viral, his business go places. How do you then compare that to a person that is going to tell you that even if you're a hookup girl, you should come to him, that is going to make your market boom? How do you listen to this and without hard work? It doesn't make sense. My generation doesn't know. I mean, till tomorrow, I believe the only way, the only path to success is hard work and being smart. Understand the environment, change at the appropriate time. Do not waste too much time. Learn, relearn, and keep moving. How do you compare that to something like this? Hold on. He said, if he does jump for you, if you're 4 days, come and have your money back. Hakuna. This guy is crazy. Anyway, that's the much I can take. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm still Mazes, okay? Good night. Bye from here.
Ah, la, 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 la.